Now I'd begun to master it, could I use it to help me through the long days of convalescence that still lay ahead? I needed a project, something to occupy my mind, something I could really get my teeth into, and something this computer could help me to achieve. I had a sudden idea. It was an old idea, one I'd had in the back of my mind for many years, but had never bothered to do much about. This was my opportunity. I had the time, and now I had the means, literally at my fingertips. I would set out on a quest I could achieve without ever having to leave the flat. I could do it all, the whole thing, on the internet, via email. I would search out my roots, piece together my family tree, and I would discover where I came from, who I came from. I would trace my family line back as far as I could go. On my mother's side, the Meredith side, this proved simple enough, because they had lived in this country, in Suffolk mostly, for many generations, and I could track them down through the parish records, through the registers of births and marriages and deaths. I managed to trace that side of the family all the way back to a Hannah Meredith, who I discovered had been baptised in Southwold on the 2nd of May, 1730. It was like detective work. Genealogical detective work, and I was soon completely engrossed in it. I was emailing dozens of times a day. I had all the information I had gathered on a database. Maya and I exchanged emails often, particularly when I got stuck and needed her help. As Maya had said, her computer was brilliant, utterly brilliant. But my father's family, the McLeod side, the Scottish side, proved much more difficult to trace, even with the help of the computer, because they had moved all around the world. One of the family to Argentina, one to Australia, and another to the United States of America. Only a few generations back, the trails kept going cold, and I was beginning to feel very frustrated. I simply had no more clues to follow up, not a single one. Then, thank goodness, Maya came back home from her holiday and to my rescue. She told me I should upload my whole family tree onto a genealogical website and appeal for help that way. So, that's what I did. For several days I had no response at all. Then, one evening, Maya logged on for me and found an email from Marianne McLeod of Boston, Massachusetts, all the way over in the United States of America. She had, she wrote, studied my father's side of my family tree with great interest, and felt sure we must be distant cousins. She, like me, had been researching her family background. She called it her lifelong obsession, and had traced her family to Scotland as far back as the 1700s, to her ancestor and mine. She hoped one Robbie McLeod of Invernessshire. Quite by chance, she had recently discovered, hidden away amongst her family papers, Robbie McLeod's last will and testament. "It's the most wonderful story I've ever read. Would you like to see it?" Would I? I emailed back to her at once. "Greetings, distant cousin. I can't wait." Maya was as excited as I was now. There was no reply until nearly 24 hours later. Maya was there beside me when I first read it. One glance told me it had been worth waiting for. As I read, my heart in my mouth with excitement, I knew that my quest had been achieved, that with the help of Maya's newfangled machine, Maya and I had discovered something quite wonderful. As wonderful as any Holy Grail. I was reading the last words in his own handwriting of my great, 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 great grandfather. He was speaking to us from across the ages. The Last Wishes of Robbie McLeod. Writ by my own hand this 3rd day of December in the year 1795, being near the end of my life, but of sound mind. I leave all that I have in this world, all of Burnside Farm, all my sheep and horses, all my possessions, Captain Mackinnon's musket, all my goods and chattels, such as they be, to my dear son Alan, who has been as good a son to me as any man could ever desire. Furthermore, in the belief that the lives we lead must surely serve as the most valuable legacy we can leave to those who come after us,